Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It's been several weeks since we've been on here, but that's okay because I was giving you all time and me time to recoup, reset, rejuvenate, and do all of the things. I went to Honduras, I went to Belize, I went to Cozumel, I went to New Orleans, honey. I've been traveling, globe trotting out here, okay? And I'm so excited because I was able to get some good insights, some good downloads. Hello. Some good just reflective moments, and I did it all off the grid. Hello, Lord, isn't that necessary, you guys? Do it off the grid. Turn your phones off, put the tablets down, less screen time so that we can get back to ourselves, internally reflect, go within, ground, breathe. Oh my Lord, it was so necessary. And I'm so glad that you all gave me the space and time to do so. And apparently you all needed it too, okay? Everybody went on vacation. I love that for all of us. All right. As you all know, this is our fourth episode. This is our final episode of this particular special series. And I'm so elated, you guys. We have waited for this. I'm telling you now, we've waited for this. I want to give you the formal welcome. Welcome back to Voices of Empowerment with Dr. B, myself. Over the last 3 special episodes, we have been on a sacred pilgrimage, you guys. We started at the threshold of life with Natasha Lee Franklin. She's the holistic practitioner. We love her. She's also the author of my books, Forward. Love that. Okay. Remembering that healing is our oldest ancestral inheritance. It is our birthright, you guys. It's not something that, we have to earn. This is something that we are that is rightfully ours to have. Okay. Wholeness and love and peace and all of those things. Okay. We walk the sterile, high stakes hallways of modern medicine with Courtney Gonzales, registered nurse, witnessing the urgent cry for a more compassionate clinical landscape. Okay. She taught us and showed us that it's so very much so necessary for the clinical staff to have that heart-to-heart connection with the patients versus just patient, diabetes patient in the exam room 3. Okay. So she shared with us the importance of that and the importance of them as staff taking that sacred pause, okay, breathing, connecting, having your own internal sovereignty and internal reflective moment of peace so that you can do your very best for the patient that's sitting in front of you. And lastly, my long-term client, my longest running client and friend, Malachi Lee, sat on our virtual couch and gave us the living, breathing proof that when you dare to bring your whole spirit into the room, your entire life transforms. Love that for him. I've been blessed to have the opportunity to see his life morph literally from trauma and all types of stuff, from childhood to religion to all types of things that had him in a choke hold. Oh my goodness. And to see him break through and just journey all the way through to where he is today. My God, do you hear me? Love that for him. And I'm so honored to have gotten the opportunity to witness that firsthand. That's some good stuff, you all. That's the reason why we do what we do. I promise you. Okay. We've proven that healing is a ritual, a fierce and sacred might. But today, guys, we are laying down the official blueprint for the future of healthcare. For too long, the Western medical establishment has treated the human body like a machine to be managed, a collection of isolated symptoms to be quieted with a prescription pad. We've compartmentalized our minds, colonized our spirits, and left our wholeness at the clinic door. But change is vibrating through the institutions. Yes. There are courageous champions leading advanced clinical practice who are willing to look past the chart, look past the compliance, and look directly into the soul of the person sitting on the exam table. Today, we're bridging the gap between advanced empirical excellence and ancestral holistic truth, bridging it, integrating it. Joining me in the studio is an elite care clinician. He's also my clinician. I love that for me, okay? Who isn't just treating patients, he's honoring their sovereignty. I remember the very first conversation I think that he and I had, we were talking about ancestors. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That's when you know, okay? That's when you know. I love it. And I could not wait to to bring the opportunity to him. And I'm so grateful that he accepted the call to come and talk to us. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our space, the incredible Dr. Danny Anderson.
Hello,
Hello
everybody.
there.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be a part of this conversation that's looking to change the future of healthcare.
Absolutely, absolutely. Welcome, everybody. I see you. I see you. I see you. Periodically, when you comment and things like that, we're going to share your comment on the screen. If you have a question, please do not hesitate to ask the question. That's what we're here for. We have two different mindsets here and two different fields of healthcare and medicine and things like that. And we are here to answer whatever question that you would need to have answered, for sure, for sure, for sure. And don't listen, don't be scared now. Push the envelope. Push the envelope. Ask the questions. That's what we're here to give those as best as possible, right? To
Definitely.
give those answers, right? Okay, listen, Dr. Danny Anderson, please introduce yourself, people.
Well, I'm Dr. Danny Anderson. I have my doctorate in nursing practice, so I am a family nurse practitioner. I have a history in multiple industries. I was a soldier for 6 years in the United States Army, and then I worked in a factory for 8 years before I decided to enter into healthcare, where I started off as a registered nurse working in the medical surgical unit, where I work with bariatric patients and orthopedic surgeries and stomach surgeries too as well, like gallbladder removals. Then I went from there to emergency medicine, and I worked in the emergency room for 4.5 years. Then I went from there to the neurological ICU. Did that for about 2 years, and then I went into academia where I taught at a local college for about 7 years, and now I've been practicing as a family nurse practitioner for about the past 5 years or so.
Wow, 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 wow. Over the journey, what led you to go into, from being a soldier, what led you into going into the world of healthcare and healing and being an advocate in those arenas, especially with such a vast experience?
Yeah, I think it was just the innate person that I am to serve. I'm a Christian, so when we talk about spirituality, that is where my background comes from. And
Mhm.
Yahshua, Jesus in the Bible, tells us that leaders should be servants. And so, even though I'm in the military, that was service to the nation.
Yeah.
And everything I do as I'm in service to Yahweh and to others, to be in right relationship with Him and other
Mhm.
people. And
Mhm.
so it was just another transition into service. I joined the military trying to avoid education, believe it or not, because
Okay.
I really didn't enjoy learning as much when I was in high school at a younger age. But as I became an adult, I seen how imperative it was to improve yourself, not only physically, because I don't know, it just I fashioned myself to be physically excellent when I was younger, playing football, boxing, being a soldier. And but then that transitioned into learning as much as I could, and I had a hunger for learning. And so then I went into the nursing program, and that was the first time I really enjoyed my educational experience because I was seeing concepts in a book and able to put them into practice in real life experiences. So, and that just appealed to me.
That's good. That's good. That's good. You said a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. Come on. Yeshua. Come on. Listen, Yahweh. Listen here. Y'all see, you see why the spirit knows. And when you enter into any dynamic, one thing about it, one thing I know for a fact is that I'm talking on the spiritual aspect here. Nothing presents itself to you unless there's something in that presentation for you, right?
Yes,
I often say to a lot of patients, clients, whomever listening, life happens for you, never to you, right? There's no such thing as a coincidence. There's no such thing as a happenstance. So when I had my very first appointment scheduled, okay, and I went into your office, I had
mhm,
not, because I'm new to the area. I
yes,
didn't
yes.
know anybody, not a doctor, not a nurse, not a receptionist, nothing. So I'm just getting myself into the fold of my health journey and things like that. Because yes, I am in my role, but my health is very important as well. I'm still in this
Definitely.
assistance, you know.
Definitely.
Like,
And a lot of times people forget that we experience physical ailments too as well. I'm scheduled to have surgery in a couple of days.
you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And that's good to know. And we pray speedy recovery, that it's a success, and that, you know, the hands of the surgeon are precise, and that they are led and moved and here and know exactly where to go, what to do whatever needs to be done, and that it is a success, it is excellence, it is accurate, and it's done to for your betterment completely
Yeah.
and wholly. And we pray for speedy recovery in the whole process. So thank you for sharing that. But that type of connection, instantly, I'm telling you, it did not take me long. When we first had my first appointment, it did not take me long. My spirit knew instantly. Okay, something about this guy is different. He's not. He's a doctor. He's not just any doctor, though. I say often, I'm not for everybody. I'm for somebody, right? And
Yeah.
so you are somebody out of the everybody in your field. And I instantly connected. And I think one of the questions you had asked me was, do I have a primary care? And I was like, no, I don't. And I said, would you be? You're like, I don't mind being. Yeah, good, very good, awesome. I've never in my years had a doctor that I was able to connect with instantly on a spiritual basis like yourself. Never.
Well, I thank you for that compliment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I see why. I see why. I did not know until this conversation, until your intro, that you are Christian. I knew
Yeah,
you
you
were
did not.
spiritually connected. Yeah,
Yes.
I knew you were spiritually connected because we've spoken about several different things. We've spoken about, you know, again, ancestral connection and all of those things, just going beyond the veil, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I see now, even my intro into the world of spirituality was by way of Christianity. I will never, ever disrespect that gateway, right? I will never do. Now, are there some things that I needed to unlearn? Absolutely, because there was a lot of connectivity to colonizing and patriarchy and misogyny and all of the things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I had to, you have to go and study for yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You have to connect for yourself. Whatever it jumps out to you, then that's for you, because there's no conversation that I won't have regarding spirituality that I'm not quoting scripture. Okay. Because listen, yeah,
Definitely.
we can say a lot of things that, and we can speak on decolonization and deconstructing. Yes, absolutely, that needed to be done for me. But I also understand and respect and value the foundation at which I was brought into this realm of spirituality, where I was able to transcend out of the four walls, go ye into all the world, and understand the other, knowledge and all of the things, and bring it to, okay, cool. This is wholeness here. This is not just this one lens. Now I can take this one lens and expand on the view. So I appreciate that. That was the connectivity. That is the thing that is missing, though.
It is
Inside of medicine. So you've read my book, and for those who don't have the book, for those who don't have the book, there's a QR code right here. You all scan the code, get your book. I promise you, you want to have the book, okay? Especially if you're undergoing medical things. Anybody who's living and breathing as a human being on this planet, you need the book. Why? Because we're all in this vessel. We're all in this body. We all store. We all have internal things that we're dealing with. We all have things that are preventing us from getting the fullness and the wholeness that we have, whether we know it or not. This right here is bringing it from your subconscious to your conscious. It's making you aware of some of the things that you might need to consider when it comes down to why I'm not moving along in my health as quickly as I can be. Okay, so now you read the book. You tell me your insights about it.
Well, one of the things I did appreciate from the book is your efforts to have the patient, I'm going to use that term because everybody's familiar with that, but have the patient to take authority of their health, right? Not just to give it away, which you call this sovereignty, that they have sovereignty over their their healthcare experience.
Mhm.
And that is something that I really do value.
Mhm.
But a lot of people don't realize they have that because of their experiences from childhood until the time they see me. That's even a possibility.
Yeah.
And so you'll see a lot of patients come in, and I'll introduce myself and I'll say, I'm here to help you. And they'll say, and I hope you can. And
Mhm.
putting all the ownership on me.
I
Right.
know.
But not realizing that God, Yahweh, from my perspective, has designed us in such a way that our body can repair itself efficiently. It's given us immune systems and fevers and breath and just life, so
Yeah.
that we can sustain this world. And a
Yeah.
lot of times we put faith in a pill versus what we have been innately supplied.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so very true. I'm gonna say this. Don't get me wrong. This is why it was very important. Either one of my editors, I had two editors, right? One of my one of my editors, who one is connected to the spiritual aspect of learning and understanding, or whatever the case be. The other is very raw cut, rational, logical. It has to make sense to the logical mind, right? And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
purposefully did that. Okay, because I needed all mindsets. I needed
definitely.
all views, right? And so the one that is cut, dry, raw, he read it a couple of times, and and he texted me and said, I have a question. I said, yes. He says, what am I supposed to do here? What do you want me to do? And I said, huh? I said, you are to edit the book. What are you talking about? Edit the book. He then called me and said, yeah, I have no notes. Excuse me? You with all the notes.
Yeah, yeah,
What? You have something critical in a good way, constructively critical to say about everything. What do you mean you have no notes? He
yeah.
says, I have no notes. He says, this was great. He says, and I'm gonna tell you why. He said, I started off editing, right, with the mindset to edit. He said, and then I found myself relating to a couple of the patients.
Oh, definitely.
Right? He was like, I was
Definitely.
like, wait a minute. He said, I had to catch myself, like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing something here. Like, what? Wait.
Yeah, I
He
have a
said,
job to do.
I have a job to do. He completely forgot about the job that he was set to do because he saw himself in the case studies.
Definitely. As I did, if not myself, I seen those patient encounters.
Mm,
And so that when you would have the practitioner aspect of it, I
yep.
found those kind of helpful. Like in one scenario, and forgive me, I don't remember the names of it,
Yeah.
where the person was data driven.
Mm,
I've seen that several times where they'll come in with this log of this is what my blood pressure has been, or this is what this has been, and oh, I'm writing this down because I keep this, and I need this, and it was driving them.
insane.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because this moved a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you try to spend your time telling them that the body isn't stagnant. Like one day your blood pressure is gonna do this, it's gonna do this, and it's all okay. It's not gonna constantly be 120 over 80, but
That's
they're
it.
looking for this fixed set point
Right.
instead of embracing the fluidity.
Yeah.
So it's stories like that. I was like, I seen that. I either seen that in myself or I seen
Hmm.
that patient before.
Hmm.
And
That's
then the practitioner advice in there were things that I was like, okay. And it wasn't that these were things that were new to me,
sure.
because a lot of things we already know,
Yeah.
either intuitively or
Yeah.
learned.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like you said, institutionally, you can kind of forget it and kind of jump into the herd
Yeah. Yep.
and forget the purpose.
Absolutely. 100%. That's one of the things and I know this from my area, you know it from your area. I know other clinicians that, that have seen it, where we get lost in the sauce. We
Yeah,
get lost in the flow of it, the routine, the schedule, and all
yeah,
of the things that, the turnaround, trying to get the bed clear, and all of those things. We get lost in the stuff that we forget about the soul and the spirit that's in the room. You know what I mean? Not just the patients, but our own, because we are quieting our own spirit. When our gut is saying, no, 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 ask this, ask
Mhm.
them this. No, 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 no. Pay attention. Yeah, you ask them a question, they're answering it, but watch their disposition,
Yeah.
watch their face.
What's the underlying communication behind that?
Come on, because even in my field of behavioral therapy, I'm literally trained to watch the behavior, to pay attention to the behavior. It's not so much the what, it's the why. What is the why behind the thing you did? Because all behavior, I don't care how great or small, all behavior communicates something.
Yeah.
Even if you don't even realize you're doing it, you could be fidgeting with your hands while you're talking about something. And
Definitely.
that fidget in the hand is telling all that it needs to tell. And for us on this end, it's for us to be so connected to the entity, the person, the physical part of them, their physiology, but also the spirit to spirit connection, because that spirit connection is going to tell what the physical is not telling. Right. And
Definitely.
so there's so many things, so many times. And I had a good friend, one of my greatest friends, passed away last January 14th to be
I'm
exact.
sorry to hear that.
I appreciate that. Where at first, I'm telling you, he was going through a series of doctor's appointments for maybe about 6 to 8 months prior to that. Okay. Um, I would say around maybe June of 24. Okay. And that's when it started to really take effect. He was having nerve issues in his shoulders and neck, right? And he bought the massage units and all of the things, and that wasn't working or whatever the case. It started off slow. I talk about it in the book.
Yeah, I read it.
To the whispers in the sales,
Yeah.
because there's always a whisper before a scream, always. But we're too busy, busy that we don't pay attention to the whisper. Your spirit is speaking. Your body is speaking. Something is speaking. And we're so busy that we don't pause. When I talk about that sacred pause, we don't pause to listen to the whispers. What is happening? Okay, stop. Your something is happening here. Something is happening here. You need to pause and don't put more pressure on it. Pause and see what your body is trying to say. Okay?
Yeah.
Pause and
Yeah.
see what your spirit is trying to communicate. Pause,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
And so with him, he pay attention to it. He tried to, work it out and, with the massagers and things like that. And then situations with his family, his children was coming
Yeah.
up, drama, headbutt.
Yeah.
His previous, this kid's mom, and just headbutt. All of that was happening. And the more it happened, the worse the pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and mind you, he didn't tell me what was going on in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is, man, I ended up having to go to the doctor. They gave me a cortisol shot. They gave me this. They gave me that. And it didn't work. What do you mean it didn't work? It's supposed to work. What do you mean? That means that it's something bypassed. It's not about the medicine. You need to go deeper. And so when he finally told me, right? He finally told me, Dr. Wayne, Dr. Clapp, he says, people, please get the book, okay? Thank you so very much, Apostle. That's Apostle Clapp. He's amazing out of North Carolina. When I tell you amazing.
Yeah.
So he mentioned to me, he said, yeah, listen, he says, I've been going, and at that point he was going every other week to the doctor, and nothing was happening. I stopped. I got quiet, and he knows when I would get quiet, then I'm listening. Okay. Not to what he's saying. I'm listening to the spirit here. And so I got quiet and I said, hey, what are you not letting go of? I said, what are you heavy with right now? What are you stressed with? What are you overwhelmed with? What are you carrying that you need to put down? He got quiet. And he was like, man, Doc, he used to call me Doc, and he was a known producer, music, DJ and things like that in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And And he got everybody calling me doc. Everybody's doc. So he said, man, doc, man. He said, to be honest, got the situation with my son. I haven't spoken to my son in months. His mom is wedging a gap between me and him. And it's just a lot going on, doc, man. You know what I'm saying? And I said, listen, do me a favor. I said, when's the last time you spoke to your son? He says, probably about 6-7 months. His son was 16 at the time.
Yeah.
I said, do me a favor. And I told him a story about, something that happened with my uncle and my cousin and them not talking for years and all that stuff. But regardless of them not speaking, my uncle, he kept calling, he kept texting, he kept sending birthday cards, regardless of whether my cousin responded or not. He still reached out. And so I told him, I said, do this for me. I said, because that's your son. That's your baby boy. I said, and you are the male in his life. So what you're doing is you're showing him how to emote. You're showing him how to express his emotions as a man. You're showing him emotional maturity, but you're also showing him with not speaking to him. You're showing him emotional immaturity right now. Okay. I said, so this is your time. This is real life demonstration of you demonstrating for your son what it means. I said, he's learning how to be a man from the man in his life.
Yeah. And so what I appreciate with what you're sharing here is that, I'm assuming he had a terminal illness.
He had something going on. It wasn't a terminal thing. It was something that was festering. It started off small, but it built up because of the resentment that he held on to, because of the unforgiveness that he had in his body. All of that stuff was causing his body to malfunction because he wasn't releasing it.
Yeah.
It was all internalized, and the body is going to keep the score. It's going to keep the score for sure. It's going to live inside of your cells. It's going to live in your muscles. It's going to live in your nerves. It's going to live in all of that stuff. And then the more you brace, the more your nervous system is going to block off anything that tries to come in, good, bad, or ugly. It's going to block it off.
Yeah, and you do see physical symptoms from that: diarrhea, heart palpitations, migraine headaches, muscle tension, jaw clenching, TMJ. Blurry vision, passing out and fainting, all from a psychological imbalance, spiritual imbalance.
I told him that. I said, listen, I said, do me a favor. I said, I need you to text your son. Just text him. I said, forget this situation. We're not talking about that. There'll be a time to talk about the actual matter of it all. I said, but text him and say, hey, son, miss you, love you. Have a great day. That's it. All right, I got you. I said, no. Do it now. While I'm on the phone, text him right now. He texted him. His ego was so that pride didn't want to do it at all. Because somebody got to be right. Okay. And so I said, release all of that. Right now it's about son-father connection, reconnection. I said, text him. He texted. I said, now he may not respond to you right now. I said, but it doesn't matter. Every morning, text him, good morning, son. I love you, miss you. Hope you have a great day. Before you go to bed, text him, good night, son. Hope you had a great day. Have a good night rest. Talk to you tomorrow, whatever. I said, do it every day until you hear from your son. 4 days passed and his son responded, I love you too, son. I love you too, dad. Wonderful. He called me, Doc, I got my son back, Doc. I got my son back. I said, see? I said, now keep it going. That was in November. Okay? November 24. He was able to spend Christmas with his son the following month, only to pass away January 14th.
Yeah, that's what made me think he may have had a terminal illness, because you said he had passed. So.
Yeah. And so the thing is, though, we don't know. Here's the thing. The only time that we have is right now.
Yeah.
We can plan for next week. We can plan for next month. We can do all of that's beautiful. Have the plans, right? However, the only time that there is and will ever be is now. Now, right now is the time that you have. Right now, you need to take advantage of this. Right now, you need to understand. And so when I talk about that, it then leads me back to the book. Right now, what is your body communicating to you? In this moment, what is it saying? In this moment, what is it trying to display? What is it trying to show? Is it revealing inner child stuff? Is it revealing, lineage situation? Is this, what's happening here? What is it revealing? Let's go there. Stop running from it. Stop trying to avoid it. Stop trying to overwork your way out of it. What is it trying to tell you? Sit with it, face it, because we cannot heal what we refuse to reveal.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yes, sir. So, okay. So now I'm going to go to the first question here. You
Okay.
kind of touched on it, but I want to get into the details. So you see, right, the physical symptoms first when you're dealing with your patients and things like that. How often do you sit across from a patient and realize that their physical ailment is actually a somatic cry for help, like a deep agonizing distress of the soul that a pill will never and can never fix?
Yeah. Well, it's easy to recognize when people come into the clinic looking for a pharmacological assistance with depression and anxiety, right? But when I read your book, it opened my mind a little bit more into even if it's not the immediate thing, not to set it aside. For example, you may have a kid that come in that the mother brings them in every Monday morning with nausea and vomiting and diarrhea, and they're sick, but then they're well every weekend. Right?
Yes.
And you start noticing that pattern, and then you're like, wait a minute now. I don't think a pill is going to fix this.
Yep.
There's something going on that is causing this kid to have a physical response, and oftentimes it's bullying in school or whatever it is, but it's something other than what the physical symptom presented. In other cases, it may even be weight loss journeys. You see that a lot with weight loss journeys. Even when I worked on a bariatric unit, when they were doing gastric bypasses, then I don't know how it is now, so I haven't worked in a unit. But you was required to see a psychologist to talk about the mental health, spiritual aspect of it, because sometimes people can get the ideal body they're looking for, but still visualize themselves in this way. And it does nothing to change their quality of life. And there's people who will get on these journeys to lose weight and do these things, and they're like, I'm doing everything right, and I can't lose weight. Well, if you're not right in the mind and in the soul, then like as your book presents, those cortisol levels is going to increase. And it's gonna be a resistance to all the diet and exercise you're doing because you're out of balance in this way. And so it's been plenty of times where I would say, I can definitely help you with this, but I do think you need to get into some counseling services, because even if you only lose 10 pounds, you still need to live today. You need to be happy with yourself today.
That's it. That's so very true. And just to be transparent, you guys, that's one of the things that Dr. Danny is helping me with, you know what I mean? In terms of, balancing weight. Now, here's the thing. The way my bloodline is set up, there's too much cornbread and greens going through on both sides. Okay. So I am never going to be.
We must be in the same family.
You hear me? I'm never gonna be 120. Okay, the way my head is big, it's not. I'm not gonna tip over. Okay, but I will say what I wanted to do was bring some regularity to it. Now, I will say this in terms of me, I've always, and in my mind, probably will always be a thick sister. Okay, and I have no problem with that. One thing about me, I absolutely love myself fiercely. And
you can feel that when the first time I met you, when you walked in the room, I was like, this is beauty.
Yes.
This is pure beauty.
Come on. What they do today, the kids, listen, yes, sir. It's because I love me fiercely, right? I love me savagely. Literally, I tell my parents all the time, no person on the planet can outlove me loving me. Okay, at all, period, point blank. Because I've been small, I've been big, I've been my biggest. Thank goodness. And due to me being my biggest, I had to get down to how did I get there? I'm not an eater like that. Okay, so it's not the food. It's not the food. I literally had to go within and say, what is happening here? Stress, worry. Comparison, the biggest killer, okay? Comparing from, whatever the case, fear of failure, always working, always trying to, not allowing myself to reset, rest. pause, lay down, eat properly, drink the water. So over the years of me just, moving, because I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of working, and in entrepreneurial work, in the realm of entrepreneuring, um, if whatever you do, whatever, if you don't work, you don't eat. Let me say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you have to go out and you gotta hustle and you gotta do this and you gotta grind and but at the expense of what?
Yeah. Living at the expense of living.
Living. Because
The
what are we
expense of
doing
living.
this for?
And you're like experienced data-driven people will get frustrated with the exercise and the dieting because they're not seeing the numbers on the scale. And so I try to shift their focus on how does it make you feel though? Have you ever regretted a day where you went out and just took a nice long walk? Did you regret that at all?
Mhm.
Do you normally feel happier? Do you feel accomplished? Do you feel more confident? Before I lost the weight, I walked in rooms differently because I felt like I looked like a supermodel.
Come on.
All because I spent 30 minutes on the treadmill that morning.
Come
The
on.
scale said absolutely nothing, but I could feel it.
Yes.
I could feel it.
Exactly. That's what it is for me. Confidence, I've never had a lack of. Okay. Even if I had a little smidgen of insecurity, because we've all had it. But listen, you'll never, what they say, I don't look like what I go through. Okay. So I'm going to always come through. Okay. Period.
Mhm.
Point blank. And it's going to be something that illuminates from the inside out. Always, always, always. My light has always shined and I will never let it go dim, especially now. Oh God. Now I'm my best self now, right? Regardless of the vessel, because I know that this shell is very temporary. This is a borrowed costume. I just make her look good, okay? But it's my internal self is who I am.
And your book brought that out too as well, because it was a segment in there where you talked about a person who was assisted in dying well, right? And so a lot of times through being a Christian, we realize that faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. And so we already know that we're walking through this world temporarily and that this is just preparation ground for an eternal existence. Just like a baby is being prepared in the mother's womb for an outside of womb experience, whether it's going to be 10 years or 80 years of living, and then they're going on to the next experience. Well, some people are so fixated on staying in this experience that they don't get to live this experience. And a lot of some of the health problems come from that too as well. In my spirituality and Christianity, you know that this is, like you said, just temporal and everything is temporary. And Yahweh, who is the great I am, has given you everything. It's from him. It doesn't belong to you. And you're supposed to use that to enrich your relationship with others, right? Not for selfishness, but selflessness. And then that's true living. I've never seen a person on their deathbed who said, I wish I bought more. But they always wish they helped more. And then being comfortable with what's happening to you next after this life will help you live your best life now.
That's it. Oh my goodness. That's it right there. A lot of my family members, and even close friends or connections have a huge problem with me talking about death and all of the things. They say, oh, it's kind of morbid, don't you think? And I told them, listen, first of all, let's be clear. I'm not basing my life on a temporary existence. Right here, we are spirits having a human experience. Understand, we are in this world, not of this
not
world.
Of it.
Okay. So when I came from spirit into this realm, and when I'm done with this realm, I'm going back home. Understand?
Exactly.
And I look forward to it. Now, am I trying to get an express train there?
So you're not homesick.
Exactly. But when my time comes, I welcome it to come.
Yes.
I'm going back home where I belong, where I'm from.
Yes. And that will change your current experience.
Yes.
It definitely will. And in Ecclesiastes, the book of Ecclesiastes, it says a wise person would attend funerals more than they would parties, because it would let you realize that this is temporary. So you don't have this little hurt hurt or pain or suffering you go through is just a momentary and light affliction, and is designed to bring something out in you, either strengthen your faith or your endurance. And so you can even if you're diagnosed with something that's terminal, you can still die well.
Come on, and that's the thing here. And in spirituality, I'm known as a death doula, right? And so that, to me, that's why I'm able to do that with such peace and such, I can be connected. Iyanla Van Zandt is one of my spiritual mentors, and so she taught me how to master being connected but not attached, right? And I had to learn how to do that because I was feeling everything. I was just a feeler. Okay. I just felt everything and everybody just, oh God, how can I, no, be connected. Because it is impossible for us to do this work with clarity, right?
Yeah.
We're just feeling everybody's stuff, right? We just don't know how to take it off, right? At the end of the day, or at the end of that time with that patient. I can't go on to another patient if I'm still holding on to the last patient's story and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to release it. But in that arena, with one of those particular, I had two that I walked through to the gate, right? For them to go on. But with the one, and I wrote about it where I helped him to see, because he was so worried. And I helped him to see, listen, what are you worried about? Because there's nothing we can do about this diagnosis, right? This is happening. Okay?
Yeah.
This is happening. It's okay. You have been on this planet for 80 plus years. That's a journey, because some people don't make it past 40. Okay. So you've lived a number of years. You've experienced a lot of things. You have not only children, but you have grandchildren. And one of the grandchildren, one of the grandsons, he wanted to show him the vehicle and the cars and this. I said, so why aren't you not spending that time that you have, however long it is, with your child, your grandchildren?
Yeah. Definitely.
Leaving some information, giving them tools, nuggets, things that they can take, pretty much mantles that they can take with them and carry on. That makes you infinite, okay?
Yeah.
That immortalizes you. And then two, it equips them with the information that you have, so that you know that they will have exactly what they need to carry on. You're going on, and you can leave here with such peace, such rest, and you don't have to worry about dying. Listen, I say it all the time. Nobody is leaving this life alive. Okay. Let's just go on and establish that to be a fact. No one is leaving this life alive. We know it's coming. What are you doing with your now, though?
Exactly. But the one thing we do know that will remain is our soul self, our spirit self, and our connection to Yahweh, which I refer to. I think in your book you call it Anima Mundi.
Yes.
But I call him Yahweh, the great I am, that he's going to be here forever, alongside us, walking with each other. And so that really resonated with me, because my uncle and my father were both diagnosed with terminal illnesses. And I remember talking to them on the exact same day. They were in the car in the backseat when I called. My mother was driving them both. And you can see the difference. My father, and still is to this day, is regretting past decisions and the way he lived his life. And most of those regrets came from selfishness. But he sees like, instead of doing this, I would have been better serving my family if I had done this. And he can't get through his mind now that it's not too late. Whereas my uncle, who was diagnosed with lung cancer, had 6 months to live. And my aunt called me. You're in the medical profession. Talk to him. They want him to put him in this clinical trial for this trial chemotherapy, and he's saying no. So I called and talked to my uncle, and he was at peace. He said, God has been good to me, nephew. I want to live these last months, whatever I have, enjoying my life. I went home to visit him, and he had drove his bike to the rode his bike to the post office and got winded, couldn't ride back. So I went to pick him up in my truck, dropped him off at home, talked with him for a little bit, then rode to my mother's house. Go to my mother's house. I'm talking to my mother, and this same uncle, when I'm getting ready to leave, is just sitting on my mother's stoop, staring at the back of my truck. And I'm like, Unc, what are you doing here? He said, I just wanted to see your Tennessee tags. You know,
Oh,
just he was diagnosed with the terminal illness, but he didn't stop living.
come on.
He started enjoying everything from his bike ride to the post office to his ride home with his nephew to
Yeah,
looking at some Tennessee license plates. It
come
was
on.
like he was more alive than ever.
That's so good. That's so good. And here we are. A lot of us have all the resources, all of the things, all of the abilities and things like that. And we don't grant ourselves the gift of now.
Mhm.
We don't do that when we have the days. We have the day. Now we don't know that we have, days and
Yeah,
years or whatever left. But with that awareness, right now, I was telling my mom this a couple of days ago. I think this was last week. I was just sitting and I was watching something, but I was sitting right here at this desk, and I kept hearing the song. One thing about Spirit, I'm a detour here. One thing about Spirit is gonna communicate with me by way, because I'm an artist. I'm artistic in everything. I'm creative, but Spirit is gonna communicate with me by way of either songs, movies, and just kind of make it a rhema type
yeah,
of thing, to where I've heard it a billion times before, but for some reason, right now, it's like,
it
whoa,
makes sense.
you know what I mean? It makes sense. So
Yeah.
the song "You Are Everything and Everything Is You," the classic soul R&B
Mhm.
song, "You Are Everything." They just kept looping. "You are everything and everything is you. You are everything and everything is you." It was ringing so loud that I had to turn whatever I was watching off,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And I just kept hearing, "You are everything and everything is you." So not so much because every time we've heard that song, it's a love song, it's an R&B song, it's a woo woo woo
yeah,
song, you get the girl song, right? And so, but this particular time, no, it wasn't about that.
yeah,
It was telling me, you are everything and everything is you. And then it broke it down, because when I actually gave attention to that, I said,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
now explain. Air, water, fire, earth, right? Sun, moon, stars, planets, birds, squirrels, grass, trees. You are everything and everything is you. Okay, 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 I got it. Expound more. You are air. How are you air? Your breath. You are air. You are air. You don't just feel air. You don't just know, you are air. Okay, got it. Woof. Okay, so that it removes air. It takes air from being outside of me.
oh yeah,
It
yeah,
aligns me with air. Now you are water. Literally, 75% of our body is water, right?
yeah,
But you are also water by way of, what does water denote? Water denotes emotion, spirit, flow, love, feelings. Okay, you are water. You're not just having or in water or washed in water. No, no, no. You are water. Become water, right? Feel, connect, flow. Nothing, water is not stopped by anything or anybody. Water also takes on the shape of whatever is holding it. Water also holds memory. Water, you are water. Then you are fire. You have compassion, you have passion, you have drive, you have assertiveness. You're brave, you're courageous, you have fire. You're not just feeling the warmth of fire, you are fire, right? And then you're earth. You're grounded, you're connected, you are rooted, right? You're steadfast, you're stable, you're firm, you're planted, right? You're centered. You are everything and everything is you. Also, with the seasons, just as the seasons pass, follow the message of the earth. In the spring, like in springtime when the flowers bloom, that's when you begin to bloom. Start process the blooming, right? Connect with the blooming of spring. Summer, connect with the shine of the sun. Connect with the warmth of the sun. Fall, connect with the releasing of the leaves, because at that during fall it releases. That is time to release old things. No tree or in the history of trees has ever begged and pleaded and cried trying to hold on to leaves at all. They willfully released the leaves.
And you remind me of Ecclesiastes when it tells you there's a time and a season for everything.
Come on.
For everything. But the one thing I would like to impart on the viewers is we really definitely have to invest in our true self, which is our spiritual self. Definitely. Because I know several times you said that we're not going to live forever. I do believe you mean in this physical existence now, because we will live forever. It's just where and how.
And how.
And how, and connected to what?
Come on.
Connected to what? And then once you have that understood to the best of your finite ability here, it will help you take care of this experience here and enjoy this day-to-day experience here, knowing that you are going to live forever.
Yes. How in this empirical westernized bubble, how do you translate that? Without crossing the lines of, whatever. How do you translate that to patients or to your staff and even the atmosphere of the clinic? How do you translate that?
I think you already answered that question when you said when we first met each other.
Yeah.
Right? Because we both invest in our spiritual selves.
Yeah. It
spills out wherever room we go into.
Come
right? I remember the staff at where I currently work at. They thought that I was going to be moving on. They said, this clinic is going to be in spiritual trouble if you leave. And I'm not going around doing nothing crazy or anything, but I live as the creator, Yahweh, asked me to live, which is being obedient to the ways that he wants me to live, which is a life that honors him, that is in a right relationship with him and a right relationship with others, right? And so the commandments are ways to honor him, spiritual, and ways to honor other people. Because even if the person is lost, then that shouldn't be a way for me to make them feel any more lost. Because it's in my belief, things are as good as they're going to get for them. They don't believe it's going to get any better. So why would I make this now experience worse?
Yeah. Have you ever been led to, in the midst of an exam, because it happens with me all the time in the realm of therapy, where I'm talking to a patient and they're telling me about their things, whatever it is. And I'm hearing them, but I'm also I'm always connected. I'm always double hearing something, but I'm hearing to go here, ask this, and it probes. It really opens them.
I have experienced that before, and I have been experienced just to tell them I don't know, but I can pray with you if you're open to prayer. And I have been led to do that at times too as well. And then sometimes, like you said, the one question you ask, I end up having to give boxes of tissue because it exposed a deeper root. And I'm not in psychology, all I know is I love people. Yeah,
that's it. Thank you for that. I love people.
Yeah. The thing that I'm getting paid to do with this, if I had the skills without going to school, I would do them for free. I would not walk past a person who was injured and not try to help them.
Come on.
I'm getting paid to do something I would do for free.
Come on.
And that's a blessing.
That is it right there. Okay. So there's one of you, and I know that there's many, many, many others, right? How do we infuse this in the realm of the whole of westernized medicine? How do we do that? And do you even believe it's possible for us to, to penetrate?
I believe it is possible. But your book clearly reveals or reminds us that there's two stakeholders in this. As I said, forgive me, the patient and the practitioner, right? Sure. It takes the practitioner not to take the sovereignty from the patient, but even in your book, remind me to pause myself, and even though that they don't realize they're giving it away, for me to try to figure out languages and a conversation or a way to give it back to them in a way that they understand that I'm giving you control again so that we can collaborate instead of you asking me to dictate.
That's it.
And so I think it can happen, but it's going to have to happen one interaction at a time because of the way the Western culture is designed and set up, where, you know, everybody knows the unwritten rule, or it might be written somewhere, but you don't talk about religion and politics in the workplace, right? So society as a whole is forcing us to leave a portion of ourselves out away from others. Right. So if I can't express myself to you spiritually, then you can't really know me.
It's it. Come on. And that's
because that is the real me.
the real me. That's what I'm saying. And I emphasize this in the book where I talked about how can I said science, I made this big letter too. Science without spirit is incomplete. It just is, guys. I'm telling you, the spirit, if my spirit was to leave my body right now, this body is dropping to the floor. Okay, which means that my spirit is the power pack, the electricity that charges this physical body. How is it possible for us to treat this physical body and ignore the spirit state and well-being of the person, of the inside of the person? It is impossible. But Westernized medicine has trained us, if you will, to silo treat. You know what I mean?
But the one thing I appreciate your book bringing out is westernized medication and all its sciences. You look at some studies, they recognize the power of prayer. They recognize the power of meditation. They recognize these things and how beneficial it is. Particularly, you talked about the nocebo and placebo effect. Science has even built that into the studies, and as an additional control, a bias control. Knowing that these things have an effect. I can give you a sugar pill, explain these things to you, and they will manifest physically. So it's there, but it's going to take some retraining to acknowledge it. But I think science recognizes it. It just doesn't want to pay attention to it. Like you talk about when the patients are coming in and talking. A lot of times, if you just listen to what they're really saying, they're telling you what the answer is to their problem. They're just minimizing it. They're flying past. They might say, well, I know it's just this, but.
It's true.
Let's double back to that. You know what's wrong with you. You just need somebody to help you realize that don't minimize it, but to bring it to the forefront so we can deal with it.
Yes, to reposition them on their sovereign throne, the sovereign throne of their own lives. Because again, and I say it too throughout the book, you have already been given the medicine. You already have the solution. The problem is you don't believe you do. The problem is you don't remember, not you don't know, you don't remember who you are. Okay? Because we came into this realm with a knowing of who we are. We came with that knowing, but social constructs or even the upbringing, you know what I mean? Because we're learning. Even if we're talking about chakras, you know, the 7 chakras and things like that. The first chakra that's being developed, and it's a 7-year development per chakra. The first chakra being developed is your root chakra. That's your foundation. And your first 7 years, from your day one of being born to 7 years old, that's your rules and regulations. Don't do this, do that, eat this, make your bed, take a bath, brush your teeth. You know, that is your foundational self. That's the structure of you. Now, question is, what is being laid as your foundation that makes you forget who you are? That's what that is.
Definitely. And you even brought that up in your book where you were talking about those past experiences. And we even have that as the ACEs scale, where we can look at your adverse childhood events and see how you score on that, which is a predictor of how you're going to fare in the future physically, as far as being your physical health, even addictions you may be prone to based off of adverse events that may have happened in your childhood.
Absolutely.
But as your book also tries to point out, is that it's not a permanent thing.
No, no, not at all.
It's not. It's an open hand. The future is what it's going to be, but you can help move forward into it instead of saying this thing says I'm predestined to be this way, so I'm going to resign to it. No,
No, no.
we're
You
fluid.
literally, yes, you literally have the say so. When we choose, when we decide, it's literally a decision. That is the power
Mhm.
of the sovereignty,
Yeah.
right? When you decide that I'm okay, I've experienced poverty, scarcity. I've experienced all that.
You sound
I'm,
like Paul in the Bible.
come on, okay.
I've learned to live with a
I'm
full
now,
stomach and an empty stomach, with and
yeah,
without.
I've experienced it, right? So I'm okay. I'm done with that experience. I choose now a different experience, which means everything. Once the choice is made, there is a path on the other side of that choice that enables that choice to come to fruition.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking when you were saying that. It requires a faith. Some people, I could bring it down as simple as a virus. We
Yeah.
know that there's 200 viruses out there.
Mhm.
So you're going to probably be exposed to a virus at one point in your human life.
Mhm.
Now, you get these cold symptoms, cough, nasal congestion, postnasal drainage, fever, chills, body aches. Most people say, oh, I got an infection going on.
Mhm.
Most of them are viral.
Mhm.
And you go to the shelf and you see all these cold, cough, and flu medications, which does not kill the virus.
Right.
All they do is reduce the symptoms to
Yep.
promote a condition in the body so that you are comfortable while your own immune system does the work.
Yep. That's it.
And people lose that fact. They're like, I've taken this medication and nothing has happened yet. Can you do something about it? And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't know how long you're scheduled to experience this. It could be anywhere from 24 hours to 10 days.
Yeah.
But in my experience, most people, majority of people get through this.
Yeah.
And so when I experience a sickness, I'm in the mindset of knowing I'm going to get through this. I already
Yes.
know that I'm going to be healed and I'm going to be healthy and I'm going to be okay at the end of it. But
Yes.
like the three Hebrew boys in the fiery furnace, if I don't,
Mhm.
I'm still going to live this experience giving honor to my creator.
That's it.
All right. And just wait and see what this open future that I have progressed into with faith reveals.
That's
All I
it.
do know is that this challenge is going to refine me in one way or another by strengthening my faith and my endurance.
Yeah.
But some people are willing to give that up quickly for a pill.
That's it. Because for some reason, there's way more certainty, way more belief in this pill or in this white coat, right?
Definitely.
That makes it concrete. And I speak about that. It's the God complex that comes with the coat and things like that. And even the coat has caused blood pressure to skyrocket and things like that. It's something about this.
Now, science and medication does work.
It does. Yeah.
But there's still an aspect that we have no control over.
Yeah.
Like I can treat 100 people with the same things that science has said will work.
Sure.
And it will work for a majority of them.
Yeah.
And it will not work for some of them. Some of them may still experience death. And guess what? Some people who are going through the same experiences who never even seen a doctor also survive.
Yeah.
It's all tools to help you deal with your life experience at this moment.
Yeah. However, and I say this often, however you perceive a thing is how you will experience that thing. Okay.
Oh, that's
so,
yes.
100%. So you said something and you spoke in your sovereignty for sure. When it comes down to, whatever I'm dealing with, once I learn that this is happening right now in my body, I make the choice, the quality decision that I'm going to make it through this. This is not going to overtake me. When I come to doctor's visits and things like that, I come strictly for the data, strictly for the information. I ask the questions, I get the information, I connect to it, but I do not attach to it. Why? Because the only way for me to get to the remedy of whatever is happening, I have to treat it outside of me. I cannot become the thing. But once I become the thing, once I become cancer, once I become whatever, then now I'm subject to whatever the cancer wants to do to me.
Yeah. And even a lot of the medication commercials, if you listen closely, they tell you the same thing. They'll say, hey, this pill will help you with this. but it works better with X, Y, Y, Z, diet and exercise, healthy living.
It does.
It's like it can help you, but you still have stake in the game.
You do.
All
You
right.
do. You do. It's there's a song, I believe Ron Canoli, RIP to Ron Canoli. He's a former praise and worship singer. I'm a worshiper by nature. Okay. My original career was music and singing and stuff like that. So but he had a song that's called Whose Report Will You Believe?
Mm.
Whose report will you believe? And then the call back, because it was a call, and then the audience came
Call
back
and response.
with, call and response. We shall believe the report of the Lord. Whose report will you believe? That's right there when it comes down to wellness and health. That's a big one.
It definitely
No matter
is.
what the report is, whose report will you believe? Now, I go to the doctor for data that may be facts, but it's not my truth. Okay, those are facts, but it's not my truth. My truth is, by the stripes I'm healed. My truth is no weapon formed. My truth is I am whole. I am healed. I'm delivered. My truth is, no unclean thing shall dwell in my presence and in my body. That's my truth. The facts are the data.
Yeah.
Now that I know the data. Now I know the facts. Let me take that information and let me apply my truth to the data.
Exactly.
And live from that truth, live from that knowing, live from my wholeness, live from my sovereignty, and tell this thing what it's going to do versus the other way around.
Yeah. And I'm not saying medicine doesn't work,
Yeah.
but it works best when there's a collaboration with your mind and spirit. It works back. You can't. You just can't. It's impossible. It makes it hard. It makes it harder.
Very difficult. Absolutely.
Very difficult.
When you align with the sickness, again, your nervous system only knows what you're feeling and what you're thinking and all of that stuff. Is going to respond to the energy that you give it. That's what's going to happen. It's going to respond. It's meant to do that. Your nervous system and your mind and all, they don't know that, oh, I'm just playing. Oh, no. It knows what you
It's
give.
real. It's real. And science has even used that to an advantage as far as like phantom pain. They will put a mirror in across from your arm that you actually have from your severed limb, and you feel like it's contracted and spasming. Well, you move your whole arm in this mirror, and your brain thinks, "Oh, this arm that's gone is back again, and it's moving, and the pain goes away."
See,
all right? See? It's definitely so. It is something we do experience.
Absolutely, 100%. We absolutely experience that. And it's something that we have to, even with remembering and ruminating on past hurts and traumas and things like that. Anytime that you remember, you reattach that thing to your now memory, no matter how long ago it was. What you're doing is innately you're reliving the moment, and you're telling your body thinks you're going through it all over again right now. And so it's going to respond to that. Your nervous system will respond to that. Your mind and feelings and emotions will respond to what you're remembering, which is why it's not healthy for us.
And it's that dialogue you have to yourself, as you mentioned. And I try to break it down easy to people, like my niece who struggles with anxiety. And I would tell her, you're not experiencing anything different than I experience. It's like, Uncle, you're so cool and calm. I'm like, you know what it is? I got norepinephrine in my body just like you. The only difference is when I feel that before a test or an exam, I think of, okay, I'm excited. This is game one. I get to prove what I've studied, and I get to conquer this, right? And so all through school, people would be last minute studying. I would put on CC Winans in my head and listen to I Pray, You Pray, We Pray. And they're like, what do you listen to before every exam? I was like, I done all I can do. The rest is up to God, and I'm worshiping him right now because I'm prepared and I've done all I can do.
Come on.
The rest is up to Yahweh. And I move into that experience, and it's not anxiety and fear.
Come on.
It's excitement and exuberance. And it translates differently.
It does.
It's the exact same chemical response.
Come on, the exact same chemical response. That is it right there. Okay, so I'm going back to the questions. When we spoke to Courtney Gonzales, she's a registered nurse over at Emory. In episode 2, we looked closely at the immense burnout plaguing frontline nurses and clinicians. From your vantage point, holding a clinical doctorate in nursing, how do you believe reintroducing the spiritual and holistic dimension of care not only heal the patient, but also restore and protect the spirit of the practitioner?
I definitely think it will help and protect the spirit of the practitioner from my own personal experience. I've never been an anxious person, but I have experienced moments of anxiety or stress or situations where I would be like, you know what, I'm feeling kind of out of sorts.
Yeah.
And so and it was the situations that I could not handle. And so me having a connection with Yahweh, I could communicate with him through prayer. So there are times that I don't know if this medication I just prescribed the person is really going to help them or not, because I'm kind of torn between several diagnoses. And I do the same thing I did before exams. I walk out that room and I say, I've done the best that I know. I've done the best that I know. It's up to you, Lord, to take it from here. And you do what needs to be done in that person's body. And that's that. And so that takes I do my diligence to know what they call best evidence, right?
Yes.
But then I also have an understanding that best evidence without spiritual intervention from Yahweh means absolutely nothing.
That's it. That's
because,
it.
like you said, And so I think if more people would step into their spiritual well-being, then they would be able to combat burnout by turning those stressors over.
Releasing, casting the cares over on him because we're cared for. Casting, releasing, breathe, becoming air, breathe, release. I do this. I do a guided meditation in terms when it comes down to some of my patients, where when I feel, because I feel in my physical body what they're feeling when I'm working with them. So if they're tense, I'm tense. If there's something happening in their chest area, I will feel it in my chest. If they're having a hard time saying, I will I'll start doing this. And I'm like, okay, what are you having a hard time saying? You know what I mean? Because I know I don't have a problem saying nothing. Okay. So I know it's not me.
I got you.
But it's something that, because I'm connected to them, right? I'm working with them. I'm connected to them. And this is why my practice, I had to pull it from the healthcare arena, because with that alliance, it makes me have to adjust my
dial
work
back a little bit sometimes.
And that is not what I'm here to do.
You're trying to dial up.
I have to dial up in order to even do what I do for them. You know what I mean? I cannot turn off those connectors, transmitters. I can't do that. I have to apply what it is that I am here to apply, and I will not be constricted. I will not be hindered, and I will not be arrested in how I do what I am sent here to do. I am living in purpose, on purpose. And if I'm here and called to serve, which I've always been called to serve, my entire life, I've always been called to serve. If that's what I'm here to do, I'm going to do it fully. I don't need permission to do it.
Yeah. And like you said, the word of God speaks to me because I study it and I read it. And so sometimes when the work environment is so chaotic and stressful and we're running behind and people are just dinging all around and you can feel yourself building up, sometimes I just step off, because even Jesus stepped off to pray, Yahshua. And I would step off and I would remember the verse where God says, work like you're working for the Lord.
Come on.
If you're working for man, then what you're going to get from man will be your reward. But if you're working for God, then what you're going to get will be your reward. And we know men are fickle. Right? You can do great forever and they think you're the best employee, but you make the big enough mistake, you'll be fired in an instant.
They will have your replacement in 5 minutes.
They will do that. And so I sometimes have to remind myself that yes, I'm employed here, but that is not who I'm working for.
That's it.
And that can help me to, like you said, to kind of draw back in, because you can get sucked into the hustle and bustle.
Absolutely, 100%. That's good. That is very good.
And some people expect that of you too.
They do.
They expect you
100%
to
they
go
do.
into the hustle and bustle. Hey, I got a place to be. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Yep.
And so you
Yep.
got to kind of also fine tune who's ready for this and who's not. Because some
Yeah.
people just want to be in and out and give me this and go and don't dig any deeper.
That's it. You're right. You're absolutely right. What would it look like if primary care networks officially built direct referral pipelines to clinician consultations and holistic practitioners, like treating spiritual and emotional integrations with the exact
Yeah.
same weight as a referral to a cardiologist or radiologist or things like that?
To me, that would be not, I wouldn't say perfection, but an improvement, a great improvement. Because a lot of times when I do recommend people to go for mental and spiritual uplifting or evaluation or treatment,
Yeah.
It always comes down to cost. And so our society will pay for things that they value.
Yep.
And so the fact that people will say, it was helping me, but my insurance isn't covering it.
Yep. That's it.
It tells me what they are valuing. So until we as in a society can value it where we're making it where the insurances or places are making it more affordable for everybody, then it's going to make that difficult. But I value it as a treatment part of a treatment modality. And I wish it could be where we worked in the same buildings, because just like I'm learning tips and techniques just from reading your book, I would learn more if I worked in the office with you. If I heard your conversations you're having, or our comment, or your input, your progress notes about a similar client, that would grow me even more. When I was in the military, they would teach us, you don't just learn your job, you learn the job of the guy in front of you and behind you, because you're one bullet away from a promotion. So it can't be, oh, sergeant died, now who's going to continue the mission? It has to be, I've been watching all of this, and now it's time for me to step up, and I am prepared because I've been dialed into everything around me. And I value that when I work in places. So if people value that, working close to clinicians like you would do nothing but improve my practice.
Absolutely. Listen, let me find out you're prophesying a facility, huh?
Well, I'm not a prophet. My hands are open.
I'm telling you, come on here. How would you all, the public, I'm talking to the public now, how would y'all handle a whole building where you got Dr. Danny and Dr. B in the same building? Hello, somebody. Okay. Oh my Lord. That would be amazing, actually, to be honest. So listen, universe, you heard it. Okay. You heard it here first. That's absolutely amazing. Okay. And our last question here, as we close out this monumental book launch series for the spiritual dimension of healing, you represent the exact kind of collaborative partner this movement needs. What is your highest charge, your ultimate call to action for the next generation of doctoral clinicians and clinical consultants who are ready to claim their sovereignty and change the face of medicine forever?
First of all, I would definitely say be open to learning new things from different perspectives, right? Like I said, when I read your book, there wasn't a whole lot of new information. It was reminding of things that I already knew. Like, like the part where you said, dedicate 90 seconds to let the person talk. Well, you hear that.
Yes.
But they're not scheduling that 90 seconds. I have to I have to intentionally do those things.
Yeah.
And know that the medical profession needs us all.
Yeah.
Right? They need people from all backgrounds and diversities and educational experiences and life experiences, ages, races, sexes. We need us all.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, although we're all one, the toe seems to get along a lot better with my foot than it does with my hand, And so we're all one body, but some things just mesh well together.
It does.
And so the more diverse we can make this field, then we can find, like we found each other, that just mesh, that you have not found anywhere else. And then we do have to work on ourselves individually so that we can bring our best selves to our practices, whatever they are, and know that we're working
Yeah,
for more than just ourselves and our bosses.
absolutely.
We're working for something much bigger and grander on an individual level.
That's
So
it.
that's what I would say to future practitioners. And
Yeah,
like your book says, imagine that future, and more you visualize it, then the more you can see it.
that's it.
It's that
Absolutely.
faith. It's the substance of the things hoped for, and
Yeah.
the evidence of the things that's not seen.
That's it. Absolutely. And I had to give the visual. I had to give the visual of what that could look like because I'm a right brainer for sure. And so I have to see the things and I'm imagining the things and and so I had to paint the picture of what it would look like so that the readers can not just think it outlandish. No, 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 no. I need you to
Yeah,
walk with me in this visual so that you can see what I see. I
yeah,
want you to see an atmosphere where all can coexist, like you just said, where we all coexist. And there's a necessity of all. And where the center of it is spirit. The center of it is wholeness, right?
yes,
Integrated, wholeness integrated, no silo treated. No, 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 no. I'm me, the therapist. I'm communicating with the practitioner. I'm
yes,
communicating with the radiologist. I'm communicating with the oncologist. We're all communicating because we're all treating the one you. Right,
yes,
so all of us need to come communicate and say, "Hey, listen, the cardiologist, hey, they're having some spikes here, and I'm
yeah,
trying to figure out what's going on here because last time they were here, they didn't have this, they weren't triggered as much. When you spoke to them last, therapist, what was it, what's going on? And of course, without violating,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
laws and things like that, you can say, you know what, no, I understand why there could be some spikes because they just suffered a traumatic experience here
definitely.
over the last month, and I can see exactly how that would reflect in their heart. And so yeah, so when you treat them, just keep that in mind that this is da 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 da.
Yeah, yeah. And science has even proven that people have died of a broken heart.
That's it. Died of a broken heart, literally.
Literally.
So that it's so necessary. And I know, even if it's not in our lifetime, I know that it's possible. I know that it will happen
Yes.
because at the end of the day, the will of the Almighty is to remind us and to bring us back into being one of one as one. There is no separation. I'm a black woman, yes, but I don't subscribe to all of the stuff.
Yeah.
This society loves a label. We love a box. We love a label, category, compartment, all of those. Listen, you all,
Yeah.
literally, you are everything, and
Yeah.
everything is you.
And
There
the
is no
Bible and in the Word of God in the book of Romans, it says all creation is
yeah.
groaning and waiting for that day when that relationship between us and the great I am
Come
is
on.
reestablished.
Come
And
on.
death and decay will be no more. It's going to be
That's
a different experience.
Oh, there is no
It's going to be a
separation.
different
Yes, Essence
experience.
Evolve. Essence Evolve said there is not no separation. I know that's right.
None.
Yes, there's none. I love this. Listen, Dr. Danny, what is the final word that you would have for the people here? Just any whatever. It don't have to be medically
Yeah.
related,
Yeah.
whatever the case.
I'm going to say, God bless you all. I am glad you guys tuned in because that means that you're realizing or awakening to something that is important. So, what I would like for you to take from this is take back your healthcare experience.
Yeah.
And don't relinquish it so easily.
Yeah.
But one thing that Dr. Lee said when she said that we're all taking care of this one patient, but really we're all should be listening
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
We're just listening to you. And so just go into there knowing that, and that there are people out there. Don't get frustrated. There are people out there who are willing to listen and do the best they can to
That's
treat your whole self, not
that's
just a part of you.
That's it. And to add to that, that is very important. There are people out there that are willing to listen, that are willing to see you, not your symptom, not your disease, to see you, right? and then work with you to mitigate, to remove, to purge all of the other things, to get you back to your healthiest, most whole, most happy self, so that you can return to your place where you belong in our shared society.
Yeah.
But if there's someone that you are seeing right now and you don't feel seen, and you don't feel heard, and you don't feel received, and you don't feel respected, then I'm going to listen. I tell my patients all the time, I can only suggest, I can't make you do, right? But there are people, as Dr. Anderson just said, that are here to see you. They will acknowledge you. They see you, they feel you, they connect with you, and they are willing to collaborate with you on your journey, right? If you are with somebody or a clinic or anybody that is not seeing you, right, then I would urge you to go and find where you are connected. Okay, please, because that's very important. It's important to your sovereignty, it's important to your health, it's important to your spirit. It's important. It's very important. Okay. So, because understand, you are the one. We are here to work with you. Okay. I can have the title all day, but and a practice all day, but without a patient, what am I doing? You know what I mean? You are the reason. You all are the reason we do what we do. Okay. So our job is to see you, right? And if you're somewhere and you're not being seen, that's a problem. Okay. That's a problem. Dr. Danny, I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. Listen, you guys, get the book. I'm telling you now. It is some of it. And I think I told you this too when I was editing and I was doing my final draft. It might have been my second or third appointment. I said, listen, I don't want to toot my own horn, right? I said, but this is some of my best work. This is some of my best work. Okay, I've written a book before, but this book took me 3.5 years to write because the Spirit was not going to allow me just to throw it on paper. No, I had to sacredly and sovereignly write this book, and I had to package it in such a way. So 3.5 years to research and to write and to even experience and even collect the case, because every single one of these case studies are patients that I've worked with, right? And of course, the names might be different. Of course, I wanted to change that, and I got consent from every last one of them. But I had to do the work and gather the data and sit with it, and then sit it on the same table as spirit and as spiritual concepts and things like that, and then present it in a way that it will not be a bashing over the head or you need to do this and that's terrible and they're doing it wrong. That one of my editors said, actually the same one that that had no notes, he says, one thing that I was afraid of is just going by the title. He said, I was afraid that you were going to tell the people, don't go to the doctor anymore, don't take your medicine anymore, don't do this, don't do that. And he says, I'm so glad. He said, because it says what it is. This is integrating wholeness into healthcare. We're bridging the gap.
Yeah, it's a dimension of it.
Yes, exactly.
The dimension of it.
Yes, we're bridging the gap. Because there's been for far too long, there's been a separation. We're marrying the two back to where they belong. Because again, long ago, and I had to go back to the origins, the history of when it happened. When was the Great Divide? When did it take place? And when was the spirit relegated to religion and church only, and the body and everything else to the doctor's office, right? So we had to talk about, I had to go through the layers and the levels and where we were, where we are, and where we can go. Okay, so that's what it is. And so you all, listen, I invite you all, please get the book. Okay, get the book, get it for yourself, get it for your family members. Okay, so that you all can have the same reminder of who you are, why you are, what you are capable of, and so you can get there. Okay, while we're in this life, your heaven can be experienced while you're on earth. I'm here to tell you. Okay. All right. Listen, Dr. Danny, thank you so very much. And I want you to stay right there. I'm going to put you in the backstage. Stay right there.
Okay.
And I'm going to close out and we'll talk in a minute. Okay.
All right.
All righty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, That was amazing. That was so good. That was the perfect closeout to it, a wonderful 4-part series. We're going to continue the conversation moving forward. We just won't do it in series form, okay? But we definitely got to keep talking about this, okay? We got to keep talking about the importance of and all of the things we have to. It's important. It's necessary, okay? So for you all who don't have the book and you may not be QR code savvy, no worries, no worries, no worries. I want you to go ahead and either if you have the QR code, you can scan. But if you don't and you want to just go off the link in the captions, do that as well. It'll take you directly to my website, the webpage, the page where you can purchase your book. And it's a flat rate of shipping and things like that. So go ahead and get it. You want to get it. All right. Now, I will say this. I want to make an announcement because I do have the companion workbook ready. When I wrote this book, I wrote the companion workbook and I wrote the next series because this is a series, you guys. I announced this last time. We are just introducing the spiritual dimension of healing, but the next book will be the spiritual dimension of love. And then after that, the spiritual dimension of family, the spiritual dimension of love and sex, or sex and intimacy. We're going because there is a spiritual dimension of everything. Okay. Again, as long as you are interacting into these in these different realms and elements of human living, there is a spiritual dimension of it. Okay. So we need to talk about those things openly as a whole, because this is who we are. Okay, it's who we are. So we can't muzzle those aspects of ourselves. They are speaking loud. They're wanting to scream out loud and show up and be seen and heard. We're going to give our spirit that respect that it deserves. Okay, listen, you guys, if you have any questions, hold on, we have a comment here. Okay, listen, Miss Cynthia said, heading over now to get my book. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and get your book. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. 100%. If you have any questions and you want to talk to me for anything or any reason, or you want to get connected with anybody who we've sat and had a conversation with, email me, info@biancamissblee.com. Again, info@biancamissblee.com. If you want to call my office, you can do so at area code 706-570-2630. You want to visit my website, you can do so as well. At biancamissblee.com, or if you want to search me on any social aspect, you can. All platforms, Dr. Bianca, Ms. B. Lee. What is this Ms. B? Ms. B was my former self. She was the alias. I was an entertainer, you guys. So I was a singer, songwriter, producer, arranger. I was a bass player in Chicago. Hello, somebody. Yes. Okay. But I also went from there to being president of a record label, A&R. I was a radio host. In fact, it was in radio where I got the name Miss B. So it just stuck. Okay. So people know me as Miss B. I am Miss B, Dr. B, whatever you want to call me. Just call me. Okay. That's all I can say. Whatever you want to call me, just call me. Okay. Listen, you guys, as per usual, you all know, I always leave you with this. I love you. I mean it. There is absolutely, positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try it. It ain't going to work anyway. Okay. So we're going to see you next time right here on Voices of Empowerment with Dr. B. Okay. We'll see you then. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Peace.